And a pleasant Tuesday to you. It is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley for this 11th of November 2025. Happy Veterans Day. In for Dan Kuntz. I'm Eric Granstrom once again here on the NCW Live channel. I'll be hanging out for the next hour to catch you up to date on the latest local news. We'll get you sports, the weather forecast, and also Austin Draude, the broadcast voice of the Wenatchee Wild, will join us in the last half of the program to talk about the Wenatchee Wild. Currently hot. They've won 2 in a row. So we'll talk about that in the last half of the hour this morning here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Now, Soupy Sales would have loved a morning like this because it's kind of soupy out there as far as the fog is concerned. Let's start things off with a look at our Valley View cameras. We'll start with the look down upon the valley from our cross camera, if you will. And yeah, a little foggy this morning, so be careful out there. Visibility reduced to, well, kind of hundreds of feet in places this morning. The temperature is also dipped here in the last few hours, so there might be a little frost, especially on some of those bridge decks and overpasses, so careful as you make that commute. The fog is expected to clear off, but we're going to be stuck with that here this morning, especially if you are near a river valley floor. That is the case. Yeah, you can see this here as we look from Monitor and look towards Wenatchee and the rising sun in the east. Yeah, those commuters from Cashmere and Monitor on into Wenatchee also will expect to see fog as we get to work this morning. Now, up to the north, yeah, that also is going to be a soupy morning. I am assuming that that is all the way down to ground level. You can't see Pateros, you can't see Brewster. Normally you could with this view. In fact, I don't even see a little stretch of the Columbia River because you can't see it. And you see this fog glare also stretches all the way out to the east. So even up on the plateau, there might be some soupy fog this morning. Thanks, Mac, for rotating that camera. Yeah, that is quite a view this morning of all the fog laying low in the valleys because of our daytime temperatures yesterday, the dew point and cool temperatures this morning. And then you add that to the moisture from the rivers, and that's where you get the fog here this morning. To camera 4, this is looking at the south shore of Lake Chelan. You can see a little fog is also creeping up over the lip of the canyon there into Chelan, but so far the lake looks pretty clear. You might have a little fog if you're driving through downtown Chelan this morning as well. So that's our Valley View cameras this morning, thanks to our PTZ cameras. That's point, tilt, zoom cameras. We love those because Mac just showed you that you can move it from side to side. All right, here's what the National Weather Service is telling us as far as the day-to-day, a mix of sun and clouds and some locally dense fog in the morning hours. High temperatures should still be in the 40s and 50s with dry conditions here for today. But then here come the changes starting tomorrow. We'll have periods of rain and mountain snow. Mountain pass snow is expected Thursday evening through Friday. Gusty winds also Thursday, ushering in this change of weather. Temperatures will go from the 50s and 60s here today and then down into the 40s by Friday. So that's what we're looking at as far as the weather for eastern Washington here for the next few days. As far as our 7-day forecast, brought to you by Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee and the Wenatchee Valley. Mostly sunny skies for our Veterans Day today. A slight chance of rain coming up late in the afternoon, but we're not going to worry about that for the daytime today. 53 are expected high in Wenatchee. It'll be fairly mild tonight with a low down to 40. We'll see some clouds start to move in and then give us a pretty good chance of rain later in the day tomorrow. We might have a few sun breaks early in the day tomorrow and then an 80% chance of rain through the day. 52 are high tomorrow for Wednesday. 43 the overnight low Wednesday night, scooping into Thursday and scooping up more rain with an 80% chance of showers. Measurable precip is going to be, typical for the Wenatchee Valley as far as, 0.05, 0.06 inches of rain. But you can expect some heavier water falling either in the form of rain or snow in the mountain passes as we get into Thursday and Friday, as the overnight low on Thursday nights will be 40. Friday's forecast, a little sunshine later in the day with rain stopping in the morning. 52 for the high on Friday. Thursday afternoon and into the evening, expect those heavy winds to below, 42 for the overnight low on Friday night. And then Saturday's forecast will start it off with some sunshine and then move into the clouds and rain. 40% chance of the wet stuff on Saturday, 54 the expected high, 42 the overnight low on Saturday night. And then Sunday's forecast cloudy, a 50% chance of rain with a high of 53. And then chilling off as we get into next week, as we'll have clearer weather and colder weather, 36 the overnight low on Sunday and 51 Monday for the high, 34 for the overnight low on Monday night. We might still have a little bit of frost on the windows this morning as you get about, I was looking at the pass cams before we took the air this morning. Blewett Pass is bare and dry. Snoqualmie Pass is bare and wet. Stevens Pass bare and wet. Temperatures about 36 degrees on the mountain passes, so might look for a little slippery conditions up there. We'll get you more on the passes as they deem it necessary. Right now, not so much. That's Check Your Forecast here on the NCW Life Channel. We will take a break and come back and get you the latest local news, including talk about the Chelan-Douglas Health District and changes to Sunset Highway. We'll do more coming up next here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Tour Moses Lake just a gas tank away. With its abundance of outdoor activities, Moses Lake is a great place to visit. From fishing and boating to exploring the city's attractions, there is no shortage of things to do. Whether you're enjoying any one of the variety of restaurants with the family or an adventure-filled day with friends, Moses Lake has something for everyone. Tour moseslake.com and start your adventure today.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Call Alpine Air Heating and Cooling today. Your comfort is their priority.
Merry Maids can clean your entire home, business, or vacation rental from top to bottom, inside and out. Merry Maids will even take care of cleaning your carpets, and they can pressure wash your home. Merry Maids has thousands of happy customers. They've been cleaning homes and businesses in our valley for over 25 years. Check out their glowing reviews at MerryMaidsOfWenatchee.com and call the cleaning experts, Merry Maids, to get your free estimate. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. So relax, it's done.
About 8 minutes past the hour here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. As you see, a little foggy and chilly temperatures this morning, about 36 degrees outside our studios here in downtown Wenatchee. On a Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, this Veterans Day, I'm Eric Granstrom filling in for Dan Kuntz. And county commissioners for Chelan and Douglas counties will soon pick the appointments to the two-county Board of Public Health. Chelan County Commissioner Sean Smith said yesterday the executive panel for the Chelan-Douglas Health District has selected 3 finalists for each of the 2 positions available on the board, which oversees the Chelan-Douglas Health District. 1 seat is available for a healthcare professional. The other is reserved for a member of the general public. 15 people applied for the 2 slots, and the final appointees must be approved by the county commissioners for both counties. The selections are likely to be made in a joint meeting of county leaders in early December. Well, when transportation officials completed the Eastmont Avenue extension back in 2013, it was one of 5 projects conceived to make north-south travel easier throughout East Wenatchee. The second such project is scheduled to begin construction in 2028. The work will widen Sunset Highway into multiple lanes between Hadley Street in the north to 9th Street in the south and install 4 roundabouts. In a presentation to the Wenatchee City Council last week, week. Washington Department of Transportation engineer Ellen Friede said the work overall is expected to cost about $71.5 million.
This project will widen the highway for 2 miles between 9th Street and Hadley Street. The new roadway will consist of 4 lanes with a non-mountable curb median to separate opposing lanes of traffic. It will construct sidewalk and shoulders that accommodate bikes, and it will also reduce the speed limit from 40 miles per hour to 35 miles per hour to better reflect the context of the new roadway and the surrounding area. So shown here is an existing image of the roadway, starting at about Bob Biles and looking south. And now you can see this is a mock-up of what the new roadway will look like. We hold the pavement on the left edge of the screen, and in this location widened to the west. So you can see the sidewalk and median curb. You can also see retaining walls. These will be installed where needed and where possible to reduce right-of-way impacts. So generally, on the north side of the project, we widen to the west, and on the south end of the project, we widen to the east.
In other news this morning, Chelan County Commissioners awarded 35 tourism-related groups a portion of over $220,000 in grants last week. The county generates approximately $2.2 million in lodging tax grants annually and allocates a portion of that funding to nonprofit tourism-related organizations. The highest award, which totaled $20,000, went to Wenatchee Valley Velo for the 2026 Tour de Bloom Bicycle Tour. Leavenworth Summer Theater was awarded $15,000, and Plain Valley Ski Trails earned just over $13,000 to develop races and clinics. Several organizations were awarded $10,000 grants, including the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center, as it works on its expansion project. This year, the county says it received 46 applications for funding, which is intended to help with marketing and event efforts. Well, the Okanagan County town of Twisp failed to properly account for millions of dollars in federal loans for recent infrastructure projects. That's the finding from the Washington State Auditor last week, which examined USDA loans to improve the Twisp Civic Building and the town's wastewater system. The audit found that $1.2 million in loans for the city government building and another $1.8 million for sewer reconstruction were underreported when it came time to validate the expenses in the 2023 fiscal year. Twisp officials also improperly drew on unrelated sets of funds to pay expenses when money ran short in their designated accounts. As of October 2024, Twisp says it adopted new policies to avoid those missteps in the future. The Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife is inviting public comment on proposed public land acquisitions in Chelan and Grant counties. The proposals are under review through the department's Lands 2020 process, which considers items like habitat management plans and regional conservation initiatives. Fish and Wildlife is considering acquiring a tract called Running Horse in Chelan County, which is adjacent to the Chelan Wildlife Area and would protect shrub steppe habitat, mule deer, and bighorn sheep. In Grant County, the department is looking at acquiring Warden Lake and the Ancient Lakes in Holding, both recreation areas near or within the Columbia Basin Wildlife Area. Public comments can be sent to Fish and Wildlife until November 26th. Well, the Wenatchee Valley honors its veterans today with its annual parade and related events. Veterans Day officially began as Armistice Day, recognizing the end of hostilities in World War I. Wenatchee's Veterans Day parade starts at 10:30 this morning from the parking lot of Wells Fargo Bank and travels south on Chelan Avenue to Memorial Park for a ceremonial rifle volley. From there, it continues to Mission Street and back north to its starting point. The day also features a free lunchtime barbecue for veterans at Pybus Public Market, hosted by the Wenatchee Valley Fire Department, and a 6 p.m. concert by the Columbia Chorale. Schools, banks, and most other institutions will be closed today for the observation. Be sure and join us tonight for news with Grant Olson. He'll have the latest from the NCW Life newsroom. That'll be at 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. If you have an update for us that you'd like to send along, be sure and contact us. You can do so via email at news@ncwlife.com. You can reach out to our phone line at 509-888-NCWL. That's 6295. Or you can scan that QR code on your screen, and that'll get you quickly to us as well. And we're on the web too at ncwlife.com. Don't forget, we're also available on Apple TV, Roku, and Fire TV. That's a cool new development, by the way. That's a look at news. We'll come back with sports news for this Tuesday on the way next on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. I've been helping people for nearly a decade understand their Medicare options. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand coverage options so you can feel confident in your Medicare decision. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or see me at my office in Wenatchee with easy parking and entrance.
When flooding hit Serve Wenatchee, their office in Fresh Hope Market were devastated. But their mission to help prevent homelessness in this valley hasn't stopped, and neither will we. I'm Todd McLaughlin, General Manager at Apple Valley Honda. Now through the end of the year, we're donating $25 to Serve Wenatchee every time someone takes a test drive. And if you happen to buy a vehicle, we'll give an additional $100 in your name. Because when our neighbors are in need, this community steps up, and we're proud to be part of that.
We've all dreamt of moving somewhere new. But what are home prices like? How are the schools? What are the state income taxes? And how's the weather? For all your questions, the Coldwell Banker Move Meter has answers. It's the only tool that lets you compare cities by cost and quality of living, so you can get a better idea of what your dream looks like and start making it come true. The Move Meter, only from Coldwell Banker. Live well with Coldwell.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, your place for fun, food, and friends. Happy hour every day, 2 to 7. Try their brand new menu and famous prime rib every Saturday night. Planning a celebration? Book your holiday party, wedding, or private event, even in their exclusive simulator rooms. Highlander Golf Course and Grill, where every day is a celebration. Visit today.
17 minutes past the hour here on a Tuesday, Veterans Day in America. It is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Eric Granstrom filling in for Dan Kuntz. We're foggy, as you can see, and 36 in downtown Wenatchee. Time for sports. The Kraken back at home tonight to host the Columbus Blue Jackets. Kind of appropriate with Veterans Day. Seattle tied for second in the Pacific Division of the NHL's Western Conference with the Vegas Golden Knights. Anaheim leads the Pacific with 23 points, while Seattle and Vegas each have 18. Columbus, meanwhile, they've been on the struggle bus so far this season, coming in with just 5 points and next to last in the Eastern Conference. Two teams will drop the puck at 7 o'clock at Climate Pledge Arena tonight. That game will be broadcast on Kong TV. Well, you know, the tendency would be to think that all is well in Seahawks land following a 44-22 win over Arizona Sunday. Coach Mike Macdonald says that's not the case. Seattle jumped out to a big 35-0 first-half lead Sunday, but allowed Arizona to come back a bit with a sloppy third quarter. Coach Macdonald says that's exactly what the Seahawks cannot afford to do.
But yeah, great guys played great. You know, we had the lull there in the third quarter, which we need to learn from. Ball's been in jeopardy too often offensively, and so that's something we need to focus on moving forward. And I'll tell you what, the guys responded though in really tough situations. We knew this game. You know, it seems like based on the score, you think that it's that it was just kind of like a, whatever in the second half, but it was not the case. Arizona did a great job coming back, fighting, and making it a couple score game. So we had to close it out there in the fourth, and the guys responded, and they did a great job.
Seahawks also got some they got some bad news following the game with starting center Jalen Sundell going down with a knee injury. Coach Macdonald gave the media an update.
It's going to be multiple weeks, and I'd say IR is under consideration with it, so not season ending as of today. We'll be getting other guys ready, but Olu will be our center right now. I'm really excited for Olu, talking about staying ready, and then when this opportunity presented itself, played some really good football for us, and he's really catalyst behind a lot of those runs. A lot of the things that he does well, Olu does too. But Jalen, he's a great athlete. Get to the second level, he's tough. resilient. I mean, all those things, but Olu is too. You know, Olu is also a really good player, and he's played great football for us, and that's what we're gonna need from him.
Now, last year at this time, Seattle was 4-5 on the season, coming off an overtime loss to the Rams. This year, they're 7-2. Coach McDonald was asked the difference between then and now.
Man, that was like a lifetime ago. Just a whole new team. You know, it's really haven't taken a step back to like say where we are, because it really doesn't matter where we're at right now. What really matters is that we had an awesome team meeting, and we had a great lift, and we had a great meeting. Okay, now we got to go put a great game plan together. And then on Wednesday, we got to go have a great first and second down install, and we got to execute at a high level, and we got to fix it. And then that's kind of where our mind is at right now, you know.
Seattle continues to have younger players step up, like Nick Eamon-Warry, who led the team with 9 tackles and a half sack Sunday against Arizona. Coach McDonald says that starts with clear and concise coaching.
It's what we said from the beginning. As a coach, has to be clear. You know, where do you want me to stand? What do you want me to look at? How do you want me to do it? It can't be a bunch of ifs and maybes, sort of kind of coaching points. So the guy knows what's expected of him on what he needs to do when he goes out there. So that's the first part. And the second part is you got to prepare. You know, you got to understand what your job is and identify the kind of the inputs that go into making that decision. And then at the end of the day, it's like our style. You got to go let it rip. You can't. There's no half measures.
Seattle has a showdown for first place in the NFC West Sunday in Los Angeles against the 7-2 Rams. Kickoff set for 1:05 in the afternoon. That will be on Fox. Now, local prep football fans might be wondering, hey, what's happening with my team in the playoffs? Okay, we got you covered here on the NCW Live channel. We'll start with the WIAA State 4A playoffs, where Moses Lake will host Bothell. That's Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock at Lions Field. Cashmere and Royal each earned first-round byes in the 1A tournament. OMAC will travel to Rochester Saturday for a 2 o'clock kickoff. Okanagan earned a home game for the first round of the State 2B playoffs, as the Bulldogs will host Reardon Friday night at 7 o'clock. Liberty Bell, fresh off scoring 86 points last weekend, will be on the road Saturday at Unalaska. That kicks off at 1 o'clock. First round of the State 1B tournament finds Moses Lake Christian and Wahkiakum Friday night at 7. Etihad visits Elmira Cooley Heartline Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock. It's not on your screen, but in the 2A tournament, Prosser plays at Ording Friday at 6. East Valley of Yakima hosts Burlington Edison Saturday at 2. Othello hosts Seaholm Saturday at 4 o'clock. Well, Cascade opens up the first round of the State 1A girls soccer tournament on the road today. The Kodiaks play at Linden Christian. That kicks off at 1 o'clock. Cashmere will host Tenino in the first round tomorrow night at 6. Wenatchee's first round game of the 4A tournaments will be Wednesday night in the Apple Bowl against Meade at 6 p.m. Moses Lake travels to Issaquah Wednesday, also at 6 o'clock. Tomorrow is the first day of the State 2B and 1B volleyball tournaments. That's down in the Yakima Valley Sundome. Manson drew LeConner for a first-round game at 9:45, while Tenasket is facing Toledo. Now, if the Trojans and Tigers both win, they'll face one another in the quarterfinals Wednesday night at 7:45. Etihad has an early wake-up call at the State 1B tournament. Tigers will play Tahola in a play-in game at 8 a.m. Soap Lake also has a play-in game at 8 o'clock against Wahkiakum. Waterville Mansfield can sleep in a little bit Wednesday, as the Shockers won't play until 11:45 against Providence Classical School. The WIAA State 1A volleyball tournament doesn't begin until Friday in the Sundome. Cashmere has a familiar foe in the first round, playing OMAC at 9 o'clock on Friday morning. Chelan is the #1 seed on the bottom of the bracket and will play the Bear Creek School. That'll be a first-round game at 10:45. Well, the Wenatchee Wild are looking to stay on a hot streak as they head for Seattle tonight. Wenatchee's coming off a weekend sweep of Portland and Prince George as they head to Showware Place to face the Thunderbirds tonight. That'll be at 7:05. The Wild continue the road trip Friday at Portland at 7 o'clock before coming home to host Prince Albert Saturday at 6. You can hear all the action with our buddy Austin Draude locally on 560 KPQ. In fact, we will be joined by Austin in the studio later on this morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley to recap a successful weekend and give us a little preview of the 3 games games on tap this week. That's sports news at 7:25. I'll be back again tonight with more sports. And by the way, I didn't mention it yesterday, but a sad note in the world of sports over the weekend, Sunday, the passing of the great Lenny Wilkens, former Sonic player, former Sonic coach. He's been inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame 3 times as a college player, as an NBA player, and as an NBA coach. He had 1,335 wins as a coach in the NBA. Lenny Wilkens passes away at the age of 88. Before we get to our obscure holiday, which isn't so obscure, and talk about this day in history, let's do our morning slurp. At 25 minutes past the hour, the morning slurp brought to you by Anti-Spit. There you go. Hey, I heard Malcolm doing it in the background too. Thanks, Mac. All right, there you go. I am sore. I'm sore. Last weekend I cut some firewood, did some dirt moving yesterday, so I could barely move. It's a good thing all I have to do is sit on my fat butt and tell you about our holiday today. Of course, today, not obscure, it is Veterans Day. A sacred American holiday that is often celebrated with somber remembrances and ceremonies that often revolve around speeches, playing of the national anthem, and the flying of the red, white, and blue. It is a day of the year where citizens can not only reflect on the service of those who have served in the armed forces, but also to thank them for said service. Although originally formed as Armistice Day on November 11, 1919, by a proclamation of President Woodrow Wilson to honor the country's servicemen who served during World War I, that date wouldn't become a national holiday until a congressional act in 1938. It would remain a holiday for this select group of soldiers, sailors, and Marines until President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed a bill that expanded its intention to celebrate the service of servicemen from every American war. It would remain known as Armistice Day for the next 35 years until Congress decided to change the name to Veterans Day on June 1st, 1954. Its name has remained unchanged ever since. The date of its celebration has also remained unchanged except for a brief period of 7 years when it was changed to the 4th Monday of every October in 1971 to make sure that it complied with the Uniform Monday Holiday Act. This decision would eventually be reversed in 1978, and this holiday has been celebrated on November 11th every year since. You know, some of the decisions they made in the 70s, such as bell-bottom pants, they, had to rethink that later on. All right, this day in history, it's the 11th of November, of course. 1675, 350 years ago, Gottfried Leibniz? Is it Leibniz? I think it's Leibniz. Demonstrated in integral calculus for the first time to find the area under the graph of y equals fx plus c. Yeah, I still, and people probably cuss his name to this day for having to take calculus in high school or in college. All right, 1889, 136 years ago. Hey, happy birthday to the state of Washington, admitted as the 42nd state of the United States. And let's give you some stats here and then beat our chest about what is good about Washington. 90% of red raspberries grown in America are grown here in the Evergreen State. 3 out of 5 apples grown in America are grown right here. Washington, the largest producer of pears, hops, cherries, one of the top 5 producers of apricots, asparagus, dry edible peas, grapes, lentils, peppermint oil, and potatoes. The state of Washington is one of 7 states that do not levy a personal income tax. Washington ranks 2nd in the United States in the production of wine, behind only California. We're 2nd nationally for household internet access. Nearly 1 million more people live in Washington state than there were 10 years ago. Happy birthday, Washington. Also on this date in 1918, 107 years ago, Germany signs an armistice agreement with the Allies in the railroad car in the forest of Compiègne. What is it? Yeah, that place in France. Total number of deaths included from 9 to 11 million military personnel. The civilian death toll was about 6 to 13 million. Allies lost about 6 million military personnel, while the Central Powers lost about 4 million. At least 2 million died from diseases, and 6 million went missing, presumed dead. Yeah, that was a costly toll back in the day. 1919, 106 years ago, the industrial workers of the world attack an Armistice Day parade. Why would they do that? In Centralia, ultimately resulting in the death of 5 people. It was the culmination of years of bad blood between members of the local Legion and members of the IWW. Both Centralia and neighboring town of Chehalis had a large number of World War I veterans with robust chapters of the Legion, as well as a large number of IWW members. Some also war veterans, and apparently they just didn't get along and finally came to blows, and worse than, on this date. It was on this date in 1921, 104 years ago, the Tomb of the Unknown is dedicated by U.S. President Warren G. Harding in Arlington's National Cemetery, one each from World War II or World War I, World War II, and Korea. In 1998, the unknown from Vietnam was identified via DNA testing to be that of First Lieutenant Michael Blassie of Missouri. His body was reinterred in St. Louis. The original crypt remains vacant. Couple of celebrity birthdays today, one of which kind of appropriate, that today is Veterans Day. George S. Patton, General Patton, was born on this date in 1885. He died at the age of 60 in 1945. His troops loved him. His superiors, not so much. He was kind of a pain in the butt. Patton, born in San Gabriel, California, came from a wealthy family. His father was a successful lawyer. His mother was the daughter of a prominent landowner. He commanded the U.S. 7th Army in North Africa and Sicily, and later led the 3rd Army during the liberation of France and the advance into Germany. His aggressive tactics and rapid maneuvers earned him the nickname Old Blood and Guts. George S. Patton, born on this date. By the way, if you've never seen the movie Patton, I highly encourage you to do so. George C. Scott was Patton. Also, one who's still alive, by the way, happy birthday, 51 years old, to Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, this guy has done a lot. Let's see. His movie credits include What's Eating Gilbert Grape, The Aviator, Blood Diamond, Titanic, The Wolf of Wall Street, Catch Me If You Can, The Revenants, for which he won an Academy Award, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and much, much, much more. And by the way, there are rumors that Leonardo DiCaprio is one of the main financiers behind our local diamond mine here. Well, it's not a mine, it's a diamond foundry here in the Wenatchee Valley. That's what I hear. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what I hear. All right, there you go. That's a look at what happened on this day in history, celebrity birthdays and such. And of course, we certainly thank our friends at Alpine Air Heating and Cooling for helping us bring you all this stuff here on the NCW Live channel. Heat and air, call Alpine Air. We'll take a break and come back at 32 past the hour, get you Mike McNaughty with his opinion. And also, I haven't heard a doorbell yet. Have you, Mac? Austin Draude expected to join us coming up as well to talk about Wenatchee Wild hockey here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley.
NCW Life Channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCW Life would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air.
Birthdays, office gatherings, and team parties taste better at Abby's. From our legendary lunch and Thirsty Thursday to our monthly Giant Special, there's always a reason to gather. Family-owned Abby's, your legendary pizza tradition. You asked, and it's back at Abby's. 2 legends, 1 pizza. Half pepperoni, half big Hawaiian. All delicious. It's mouthwatering, loaded with toppings, and happily feeds a family. Order at abbys.com before this legend disappears.
Is your yard outdated, overgrown, or just not working for your lifestyle? At Bailey's Pro Landscaping, they specialize in transforming ordinary outdoor spaces into beautiful, low-maintenance landscapes built for Central Washington living. From custom designs to full installation, they bring expertise, creativity, and craftsmanship to every job. Your yard has potential. Start your project with Bailey's Pro Landscaping.
Central Washington Water understands the power of healing waters. If part of your wellness routine includes hot heat from a sauna, Central Washington Water now carries indoor and outdoor infrared and hot rock saunas by Tilo. Research shows there are many health benefits to a cold plunge after a good workout or relaxing time in your sauna. Harness the power of water in a hot spring spa, plug-and-play spas, a Tilo sauna, or a cold plunge tub. Stop by Central Washington Water, your wellness experts.
This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. No, I've heard a rumor that, I guess it's true, that the Major League Baseball is going to start using robots to call balls and strikes. Well, you know, I want to say that anything that will stop us from having to yell at umpires for lousy calls, anything that will stop managers from storming from the dugout to argue, chest bump, and kick dirt on the shoes of umpires, and anything that will eliminate players' benches clearing and rhubarb starting in the field, delaying the game, and anything that will stop players and managers from being tossed from the game should never be used. Come on, this is baseball, people. What are they thinking? This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Welcome to Mountain Chick Floral, your go-to flower and plant shop in downtown Wenatchee. Explore their wide variety of unusual and fun plants. And when you buy a plant in a container, they'll pot it up for you absolutely free. Birthday or weddings, they'll create the perfect floral arrangement for you. Brighten up your office with fresh blooms delivered to your door or business. Ask about floral subscriptions. Visit Mountain Chick Floral today, where every occasion is a reason to celebrate with flowers.
Welcome to Bliss. Population U. This is the you that appreciates the warmth of a good coat and the fit of a purposeful boot. At Coastal, we want to be your partner in finding your bliss. We are hopeful and helpful because we're about this community. So when you're looking for a place called Bliss, trust Coastal, your country lifestyle superstore. Coastal, we're just what the country needs.
Hey, hon, would you run this around to the wash rack?
Oh, okay.
Hey, hon, what happened?
They shrunk the truck.
The all-new mid-size Canyon is now available at Sangster Motors.
Hey, welcome back to Save Mart. What can we help you find today?
We're looking for a mattress.
Oh, right this way. We got a large selection. We have this pillow top here.
Oh, comfortable.
We have more to choose from down here.
Oh.
I think I have the perfect one over here for you.
I guess we'll take this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
Caught in a conflict? Family, workplace, neighbor, business, housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
39 minutes past the hour here on a Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. In for Dan Kuntz, I'm Eric Granstrom, and our good buddy Austin Draude joins us now from the Wenatchee Wild. And Austin comes in. You got to have a little more spring in your step after winning 2 games in a row for the first time this season.
Yeah, first back-to-back wins this year, and now we've got a road trip tonight for a chance to make it 3 in a row. So we've get to spend a few hours on the bus and hopefully make it a really good start to this week.
We'll talk about the trip to Seattle tonight and then what's coming up this weekend here in just a little bit. Let's back up the truck a little bit to the weekend. First of all, it started on Friday night. I know you're expecting big crowds at the Town Toyota Center with Red, White, and Blue night on Friday night and then Military Appreciation on Saturday. Talk about that matchup, first of all, with Portland, and we'll run a little B-roll so you can talk about that game.
Yeah, I mean, it started fairly early. The Wild got off to a great start, jammed that one in about 8.5 minutes into the game. Sean Rios, who's been battling to get on the score sheet all season long, he's been in a lot of the right spots, just hasn't gotten the results. That's a pretty good result to get, and he added on to it on the rush in the second period, an absolute snipe on the stick side to make it a 2-0 game. He had a couple goals in this one, also ended up picking up an assist on the night, and then the Wild just kept on tacking on. Mason Kraft, who's been off the score sheet for a few weeks. How about this shot from atop the right, or the left face-off dot to the right of Andrei Stebatek? Picked his target, and Stebatek had no chance at it. We go to the third period. Blake Vanek, he's been in a lot of the right spots, hasn't seen the results. Well, now he does, and it's 4-0. Wenatchee Wild lead. His first goal in the WHL, had 4 in the USHL with Chicago last year, and picks up that one. Eric, you're familiar with the broadcaster's jinx, right?
Yes.
Like when I say shutout, that happens. First goal of the game for Portland to make it 4-1. It comes on the power play. The power play would be a bit of a theme in this game, but the Wild answer back quickly. A feed out to the doorstep from Lucas Sherbina, and another goal for Blake Vanek. This one a snipe from the left wing point, makes it 5-2, and that one comes on the 5-on-3. Portland did not score a goal 5-on-5 in this game, but they would go 3 for 10 on the power play, and the Wild clear this one down the ice. Check out Caden Campion out of the box, off the penalty bench, and onto the scoreboard for the first time in a Wenatchee Wild uniform. But how about one more weird one just to leave you with? Off the glass, off the net, off of Tobias Tversnick's back, off of Kyle McDonough's stick, nothing but net.
Yeah, he called it, right?
Yeah.
He called that shot. So 6-3 win on Friday night, and the vibes are good. You had a good crowd on hand for that one. So you roll into Saturday. It's Military Appreciation Night. You already know you got a big house for that one. And you want to be honest and tell us a little bit about what you thought before the game, going into the game?
Well, we've got Portland on the ice, or Prince George on the ice, who's leading the BC division. We've got a jersey auction night, so the pressure's on. We've got to win this game. Get the crowds are always in a little bit better mood after we win a jersey auction.
And you're coming off a win the night before, so
we're coming off a high the night before. We haven't picked up those back-to-back wins yet this season, and it's one of those nights where things come together, and you're thinking, I just don't have a great feeling about this, and then the second period happened.
Well, let's walk through game 2 on Saturday night.
And the scoring didn't start until the second period. Completely scoreless first period. Aiden Grosscloss from the right hash marks. Zane Saab in front of the net. And that is going to change that. A little tip, it skitters through, and Wenatchee takes a 1-0 lead on the 37th shot of the game between the teams. Check this out. Take another look. That one skips off the stick and sneaks through. 2.5 minutes later, a grab on the end boards, right out front to Aiden Grosscloss. I got you, brother. Returning the favor, Grosscloss from Saab this time to make it a 2-0 score. This one, a fantastic save, a couple of fantastic saves from Cal Conway, who's battled all season, has not gotten that first win yet. But a rush to the net, and Conway hangs on and gets the whistle. Little dust up in front of the net. Boys will be boys, don't worry. And this one is another odd one. Up top, on the power play. Fantastic save. Conway goes one way, the paddle goes another, the puck goes a completely different direction, and we only have 2 of the 3. The stick is laying at the face-off circle, and that's not going to help as that one gets by. But the Wild, with families in the building, with back-to-back wins on the line, clear the last one away down the ice and make it a 2-1 final score. Back-to-back wins for the Wild, first time this season. And now a chance to go to Seattle, make it 3 in a row.
So let's talk about how big that win was Saturday night. You talked about Prince George. I mean, that's a really good team. Wild have kind of had their little struggle bus so far this season, but they come through it, and they come through with a big, close win.
Huge win for these guys. They knocked off 2 division leaders over the past couple of weeks. Saskatoon was a division leader when they came into Wenatchee, and they've kind of hit the skids the last few weeks. Haven't quite recovered, I think, from that U.S. division trip yet. And then you look at Prince George, who's been clicking all season. They've gotten outstanding goaltending from Josh Ravensbergen, who's a first-round draft pick in the NHL. They throw a couple past him, and the guys stepped in shooting lanes, blocked shots. They cleared everything away from the net, made sure Cal could see the puck. Cal stood on his head and made 36 saves. Half of them were absolutely unbelievable saves. And this was a group that I think needed a huge win on Saturday. Cal needed a win to pick up that confidence a little bit after 4 rough rides for them to start the season. And now I think the group is feeling a whole lot better about its chances with a chance tonight with a win against Seattle. This group ties for the 11th spot in the conference with games in hand on most other teams. So tonight with a win, the climb up the Western Conference standings could officially get started.
Talk about this matchup tonight with Seattle, Showware Place. They usually seem to have a pretty good crowd there, kind of hostile environment for the Wild to go into. Kind of give us a few bookmarks on what we could look for tonight.
It is a hostile environment. It's a tough place to pick up a couple points. The home team back there has won 4 consecutive against us, so it's a tough place to pick up a win. But we're playing against, the good news is, a team that has been penalized the most in the league. So if the Wild can keep their discipline, power plays could be coming tonight. And a team that has started well, but that hasn't carried through in the second period for some of their games. So a chance to kind of ride out a storm in the first period if we need to, and then push for the lead in the second period. But it's a game where you can't assume anything. You can't take anything for granted coming in. And it's a group that is very tough at home, not just against us, but all the teams that they've played at home this season. So it's an opportunity, but it's an opportunity that these guys got to take seriously.
So after tonight, they head to Portland on Friday to play a team they just played on a Friday. So a week later, they're playing in their house. What can we expect? Another big win for the Wild, or a little tougher to play on the road?
It's tougher to play on the road, and Portland is a tough place to play on the road. It's that big cavernous feel, a building that at one time hosted the NBA, hosted an NBA title back in the 70s with the Trailblazers. So it's a wide open space. It can be tough to pick up a win down in Portland against a team that even when they're down, they're always strong. And this is a group with a lot of talent, a lot of up and coming talent that we'll probably see in the NHL, in the AHL over the next few years. So it's a game that is always tough to win down there. We've had our successes down there, and I think this group can do it again on Friday and Sunday.
Well, let's talk about what's happening coming up the weekend. After a couple of games on the road, we come back home. Another Prince in town. We were out, let's see, George last weekend. It's Albert this weekend.
Yeah, so Prince Albert comes in, a group that just lost its first regulation game last weekend. They're finishing up their U.S. division trip coming on Saturday. So we'll take on a team that hopefully still has some bus legs in them. But they're a tough team. There's nothing that they really don't do well when they come in. Excellent goaltending, as have been a lot of the teams that we've seen, and a group with a lot of depth. So it's a game that is an opportunity for us, but it's a game that we've got to do a lot of things well, and do a lot of things, very little things, very simple things. But we've got to execute them perfectly in order to win that game.
I didn't look up the stats before we got on the air here to talk about it today, but I'm sure you're up to speed on where the Wild are so far this season on power play and penalty kill. How are we doing?
Yeah, the power play has been good at times, but right now it's been near the bottom of the league. Seattle is one of those teams that is down there with us, so power play opportunities could be a big one tonight, a chance for somebody to get that unit kick-started. But penalty kill has been one of the top in the league this year, and that comes from good effort, good willingness to battle in the corners, good willingness to get in shooting lanes, clear things away from the net. So the penalty kill has been great this year, thanks to some really good effort from our guys. Power play, the chemistry is still coming together. That'll come in time, but it's a work in progress right now with 5-on-4. 4-on-5 has been pretty solid.
As far as the team is concerned, you know, we watch Seahawks games, and Mike McDonald, the head coach for the Seahawks, talks about the price of doing business penalties, you know, the flags that might come their way. For the Wild, are there any, you know, mental penalties that they need to overcome that they're still working on, being a young team playing together, or are they, you know, smart penalties that you just got to give them up?
I think they're probably some of them certainly are the penalties that you know you have to take. Hopefully you don't work yourself into those situations where you have to take a penalty, you know, something to break up a breakaway opportunity or something like that. I think for a lot of these guys right now, especially adjusting to the speed of the Western Hockey League game, adjusting to the way the game is played, the way the game is called, some of it is you know, good effort penalties, but guys just trying to make a play and trying to keep up with the speed of the game that they're still learning. And I won't call it cutting corners, but I will call it, you know, guys are find themselves a half step behind, and they're trying to make up that half step, and in the process of it, they make a move that they're going to get dinged for.
With Seattle being the most penalized team in the WHL coming into the game tonight, is that one of those things too, possibly where you can get into their headspace a little bit?
That's a possibility. It's something that you know, our guys you know, might be able to work to their advantage tonight. Obviously, you can't assume anything, because
right.
Both teams are saying in the dressing room, hey, discipline is a big part of this one. Keep your cool. No extra penalties tonight. The guys did a great job. Our guys did a great job of that on Saturday night, and Seattle did a solid job of that against Vancouver on a night where they picked up a couple power play goals. So discipline is going to be at the forefront of everybody's mind tonight. Executing that and keeping the cool tonight, making smart plays, and not walking yourself into a situation where you need to take a penalty. That's going to be at the forefront of everybody's mind tonight, and we'll see if that comes to fruition.
Austin Draude joining us here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Before we get to promotion this coming weekend, I want to talk about the promotion last weekend. Jersey auction, how did we do? How did it come out? And I was thinking to myself while I'm driving down the road listening to your commercial about the jersey auction. I'm like, whose jersey would I want? Probably Lucas Sherbina was probably one of the higher priced auction items for the night. I'm guessing. I don't know.
I think it was. I haven't seen much in the way of totals yet, but I was on the ice for a few of the jerseys. I'm pretty sure Lucas went for a pretty solid price. Tobias Tversnick, who's been outstanding in net, he's made a name for himself among the Wild fans. That one went for a pretty good price, and I know Kalen Jodry's at the very end went for a good price. I think you start out with one where everybody's kind of getting settled in and seeing what the standard is going to be, and then after that they start climbing a little more just because everybody's a little more comfortable kind of getting into the flow of the auction and throwing a bid out there.
Do we have a promotion coming up this weekend? I know there usually is for most of the home games.
It is. It's Healthcare Workers Night presented by CVCH, so we'll say thank you to the healthcare workers around the valley, and CVCH has also made 100 free kids tickets available for this one as part of a long list. A lot of great sponsors around our area have helped out with kids in free nights, and Columbia Valley Community Health is one of those sponsors this week.
One other item before I let you go today, I saw a press release from you, was that yesterday, about a Wild player getting a cup. Talk more about that.
Yeah, Boston Tate brought some gold home from Truro, Nova Scotia, the World Under-17 Hockey Challenge. These are some of the best 16-year-old players in the world playing in Canada every year. It's one of Hockey Canada's most prestigious tournaments, and they field two teams. Four other countries around the world field a team as well. And the red team that he was an alternate captain for walked away the gold medal on Saturday with a 6-3 win over the white team from Canada. So back-to-back years that Canada has swept the gold medal game, and 4 years in a row that they've picked up at least one medal from the tournament.
So does he come walking into practice with the little medal around his neck?
Maybe once, but we haven't had him in the lineup lately,
right.
And we've still picked up 3 out of 4 without him. So he's coming into a group that is pretty confident without him. Now we go on the road, we get him back, so that'll be a big advantage for these guys. But he's walking into a group with a little bit more confidence right now as it is.
Sounds good. Austin Draude joining us here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. WenatcheeWildHockey.com is the web address. You want to pick up your tickets, do so there. You can find out the rest of the promotional schedule as well. And don't forget to listen to our buddy Austin on 560 KPQ. Tonight, starting, let's see, they'll drop about 7:05?
7:05, so we'll go live about 6:45.
Okay, all right. And it's always interesting because when we get the tapes back and we cut them up to playback, it's interesting to listen how Austin fills that 20 minutes of the intermissions, 2 intermissions to fill there. You do a great job, my friend. I mean, that's not easy. It's not easy. I mean, it's not like you get to go outside and take a smoke break or something. I mean,
that comes from a lot of working ahead, a lot of okay, how am I going to do this, and how do I do this with 4 games this week? How do I do this with 3 games over Thanksgiving week? The challenge is going to be the second week of December. 3 road games. They're all teddy bear toss games.
Oh, gosh.
And the last one's in Calgary with 19,000 fans.
Which means that you add how much to that intermission time? I mean, that makes it like a 40-minute intermission?
Well, they throw the Bears during the period.
Play.
So, and those are big events in Canada. So Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, they'll add a little bit of time. It'll basically be another intermission to fill. Calgary is a nice lengthy one, so that one will take a little bit of extra planning and maybe some revisiting to some old content.
Maybe you could just hand out your cell phone to Wild fans, and you can just play a little trivia on speakerphone while you got them there, and just say, "Okay, which Wild team did this?"
East Wenatchee, Washington. You're on the air.
Take requests. Why not?
What do you want to talk about today?
Yeah. Austin Draude joining us here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, our good friend and voice of the Wenatchee Wild again. On the road at Seattle tonight, they'll drop the puck at Showware Place. Did I get that right? Showware Place? Showware Arena?
Center.
Center. Okay. All right. Is that R-E or E-R?
E-R here.
Okay. All right. That Canadian stuff. 7:05 tonight. Be sure to listen for the pregame about 6:40 on 560 KPQ. We'll come back, wrap up another edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the way next.
Craving fresh Asian comfort food? Steam Panda is Wenatchee's popular family-friendly Asian restaurant. They focus on providing guests with delicious, healthy, fresh, and natural dishes for an affordable price. Warm up with one of their many popular house-made soup dumplings, ramen noodles, or pho dishes. And make sure to ask about their lunch and chef specials on sushi rolls. Steam Panda's Hawaiian poke bowl and salads are excellent with your favorite boba tea. Stop by or order online at Steam Panda today.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Mow, dig, haul, trench. The reliable Kubota BX Series subcompact tractor is highly capable. A smooth hydrostatic transmission makes for easy operation and versatile attachments that help you handle the job. The Kubota BX Series is the #1 selling subcompact tractor in the U.S. Talk to your Kubota dealer to schedule a demo.
It is a foggy kind of morning, but it's going to be lovely later on today, just in time for our Veterans Day parade here in downtown Wenatchee or wherever you may be. Let's check that 7-day forecast here before we wrap up the program this morning. Sunshine later today, a high of 53 and not much wind to speak of. So nice day here for the Wenatchee Valley. Then here comes the change. Tomorrow we'll see increasing clouds through the day, 80% chance of rain, a high of 52 tomorrow. As we get through the rest of the work week, look for windy conditions to usher in a lot more clouds and a lot more rain coming up Thursday, Friday. Going to see some rain on Saturday and Sunday as well, and then it'll be nice when we get to next week, but we got to put up with this for this week. 53 for the high on Thursday. The overnight lows will be in the 40s until we get to the weekend and the end of the weekend, with temperatures dipping back down into the 30s. We're at 36 degrees in downtown Wenatchee, and a little bit of fog lingering this morning. So as we get through the morning commute, be sure and be careful out there. Give yourself plenty of stopping distance, and give yourself also a little extra time to get to where you're going, because you're just not going to be able to see very much here today. I don't know if Dan's going to be back, so it might be me again tomorrow for a Hump Day Wednesday of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley here on the NCW Life Channel. In the meantime, make it a great Tuesday and happy Veterans Day.